What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. And don't forget you can follow us on podcast too now, so you can take us with you wherever you go. And you can also support the channel if you choose to do so, either by hitting that join button down below for YouTube or heading on over to Patreon, where we have different levels and tiers and various things like that. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from NoFormal8875. Am I the arsehole for telling my sister I don't want her and her new poly partners staying with us, even though I was initially okay with just her boyfriend? Throwaway. My sister had plans to stay with us for months. She lives in a city that's had a hard time during the pandemic and wants to stay with me, my husband and my kids for 2 months to unwind and escape. We live in a very tranquil / picturesque part of our state. I was totally okay with this. We have a big house and my kids love their auntie. The issue is, she tells me she's been in a new polyamorous relationship since late last year and she wants to bring her 3 new partners along. I haven't seen her all this time and I haven't met any of these people. I only know her long-term boyfriend of 5 years and they've visited us many times in the past. We're now having a rough time because basically I said no. I don't want your other romantic partners here, but you and your boyfriend are still welcome, like my initial invite. She has tried to explain the dynamics of their poly relationship and I tried to understand as best as I can, but I still don't want 3 additional strangers all sleeping together under my roof. She said they would all be sleeping in one bedroom and would probably see them cuddling / being affectionate in public living spaces, but that is no different than what her and her boyfriend would do anyways, just with more people. It's hard to verbalise why I'm so against this, so my sister is using this as evidence that I'm secretly bigoted and need to reevaluate my prejudice. My sister did point out that I once let 2 of her college friends that I haven't met before stay with us during spring break. I felt like that was different because they were 1, only friends, and 2, not in a sexual relationship with one another. I just feel uncomfortable knowing that there will be a total of 5 people in my home likely engaging in group sex when my family is nearby. Am I the arsehole if I maintain this boundary? I feel like I'm probably carrying some prejudice against their form of relationship, but on the other hand, it's also my home and my kids to protect. My husband agrees with me but says it's my choice to make because it's my sister. She's been ignoring me for the past few days since I said no and told me she thought I was better than this. Now I know we've got a couple of people in our community that's polyamorous and have multiple partners and things, and they've explained it to me in the past. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, you know, you do your thing if you want multiple partners and things. But in this situation, I think it's a bit different because it's obviously new to OP and she doesn't want multiple people coming into a house, especially during when the pandemic is going on as well, you know. And I think it raises other things more than just a relationship, you know. With these multiple people coming into the house, you have to start thinking of like shopping and cleaning, and just having these extra bodies around the house is also a different responsibility in itself, you know. But we're going to go straight down to the comments to see what's going on down there. Edge of the Atlas says, not the arsehole, there is a pandemic. She's lucky she and her primary are invited. 2, why in the world should you be obligated to host additional people that you don't know and didn't plan for? 3, you can have no issue with her being poly, while taking the issue with her inviting over some randoms that she just started dating. Sounds like she's trying to use your tranquil home as a booty vacay. Sergeant Mum says 3 specifically is why OP is not the arsehole in this situation. Yes, 1 and 2 are important, but it literally sounds like she wants a summer vacay with her new poly pals and is peeved she won't get that. OP, you are not obligated to put the health of your family at risk during this pandemic with 3 people you've never met before. Your sister should understand this. Saluki Queen says, hold up, did I just read there will be 5 people, as in sister, boyfriend, partner A, partner B and partner C? Forget the polyamory part, as long as they're happy and have a healthy relationship, it doesn't matter what they do. But why would they think it's okay to bring that many people into a house with children during a pandemic? Also, who wants to live in a house of 9 people all cooped up in quarantine? I've seen reality TV shows, you're not in for a good time. Not the arsehole, that'd be a hard no for me too. OP replies to this saying, yes, sister, boyfriend, partner A male, partner B female and partner C male. My sister said that 2 of the people are in a relationship with her and her boyfriend, but the remaining man, partner C, is only together with the other woman, partner B. Maybe I was just intimidated by the complexity of it all, but I just feel really uncomfortable with a living situation that I would have zero idea how to navigate. So Lakey Queen replies to this saying, to be fair, it's a new thing for you and you need time to process it. Being thrown into a situation where you're all living together and trying to figure out it's like a baptism by fire. You should never have to worry about being uncomfortable in your own home. Maybe talk to your sister and tell her you're not judging her, but you want to try and understand and learn more and you don't want to be overwhelmed. Throw in a number of people / COVID thing too though, because that's a big thing she's not addressing at all. Your invite was for 2 people, not 5, regardless of their relationship. Now, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Am I the Arsehole Not Move In? Am I the arsehole for not wanting my boyfriend to move in with me? So I like my boyfriend, but I don't know if this is the right timing for us. We've been together for about 10 months and he has recently started asking to move in with me. My initial reaction was happiness. I was excited to spend more time with him, but as he's been staying with me more, 3 to 4 nights per week, there's a few things that have been bothering me. Number 1, my boyfriend tends to just drop stuff and not pick it up. I have a small condo, so piles of clothes and stuff tend to be quite noticeable when there's basically only a handful of surfaces. I've asked him to pick stuff up and he just shrugs it off. 2, he stays up late gaming and refuses to wear headphones, so it keeps me up at night. Once again, it's a small condo, so hard to get away from the noise. He works from 12 PM to 9 PM 4 days a week, so it feels like he should be able to enjoy his evenings. But I work from 6 AM to 4 PM 5 days a week, and I drive heavy machinery, so it's important I get enough sleep and I'm alert enough for work. 3, he recently was telling me about how much he was going to save by not paying rent. He currently pays $210 a week, and I questioned why he thought he would be living rent free with me. He argued that he shouldn't have to contribute to my mortgage, and I agreed, but said that I would still want about 50% of market rent. Market rent is around $220, and I said I would like $100 a week. My mortgage payments are $340 a week, so it's not like he's paying half my mortgage. This turned into a rather large argument, and he repeatedly slammed doors in my condo and damaged the lock on one. He then got mad when I asked him to help fix it. 4, he has repeatedly suggested that if he moved in, then my cat would have to be confined to the hall cupboard when he's here because he doesn't like cats. He's not allergic, he just doesn't like them. I disagree and think that's unfair to my 11-year-old cat who has had the run of the place for the last 4 years. Long story short, my boyfriend's current rental period is up end of July and he's repeatedly talking about moving in here rather than finding somewhere else. I've consistently rebutted this, but finally put my foot down last weekend after he deliberately let my cat outside and said he absolutely wouldn't be moving in with me and I want him to move his gaming stuff out of my lounge / kitchen area. He threw a massive fit and stormed off, and now his mum is ringing me and calling me a lot of rather rude things because he's going to have to move back in with them until he finds a new place. Am I the arsehole for not letting him move in, even though I was initially keen? Hell no, you're not the arsehole. Holy shit, he wants to move in rent free. Can I move in with you? Even $100 a week, I'm still tempted to come across and move in with you for that. And the cat can stay. There's just so many red flags. That he's currently staying with you rent free. He doesn't respect your place, leaves a pile of crap everywhere, and he won't wear headphones while he's playing his games, keeping you awake. What an arsehole. Giant man, baby. Get rid of that dude, man. Let's go down into the comments to see what we can find. Riri202 says, not the arsehole, he's a freeloader. This isn't the man for you. He comes to your home and treats it badly. He expects to live there rent free. He wants to neglect and abuse your cat. He is also putting your cat in harm's way. Babe, this man is a walking red flag. Please leave him and don't let him move in. He's abusing you already. This will only get worse. You've seen his true colours. Do you really want a man that treats you badly, don't respect your home, your need for sleep, and then abuses your pet? Think about it. Deep down, you know you don't. Go give your kitty some hugs and dump the boyfriend's ass. Too true. And pretty much everyone says the same thing in this post. There's no point in me reading these. They're just saying get rid of this guy because he's a giant red flag. What do you guys think of this story? Have you ever had a boyfriend or girlfriend like it? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story comes from Illegal Beagle. Am I the arsehole for telling my niece she was a product of infidelity? My niece is 17 and she's kind of a bitch to her parents, especially her mum, my sister-in-law. About 17 years ago, my man whore of a baby brother had an affair with some random woman he worked with. His wife of 5 years forgave him, even after finding out about that woman he was pregnant with my brother's baby. 9 months later, out pops my niece. Unfortunately, my niece's mother passed away very soon after she was born, so my brother had full custody of her. Unbeknownst to me, they had been telling my niece that she is the biological daughter of my sister-in-law. A few weeks ago, I had a baby boy of my own, and she'd been FaceTiming my brother in SIL regularly to show him off. This week I FaceTimed my SIL. About 10 minutes in, I heard the voice of my niece. She was yelling about some teenage nonsense at incredible volume. My sister-in-law called her down to ask her to quiet down. My niece came down and started screaming expletives at my sister-in-law's face. My sister-in-law, not wanting me to see this, she told me she would call me back after she finished dealing with her daughter, and hung up. About half hour later, she called me back in tears and confessed to me she didn't know how to handle her daughter anymore. I consoled her until the end of the FaceTime and immediately was furious with my niece. I messaged her over Facebook and told her off. One of my messages was, "You don't understand how blessed you are to have your mum. She doesn't have to be there for you. She could have left your dad when she found out about you." And I didn't receive a message back. That night I get a call from my brother asking what I told his child. I told him exactly what I said, and I really don't regret it. Long story short, her parents ended up needing to tell her that she was the product of her father's affair and was not related to her mother. For this, my brother called me a massive cunt and said I fractured his family. I argued back, saying I realised she didn't know her mum wasn't her biological mother for a little bit before he hung up on me. Am I the arsehole? And a bit where she asterisked before said, I phrased this incorrectly. When he asked, I told him I don't regret what I told her. Then he told me that they had to explain that their daughter was a product of their infidelity. I do very much regret being the first person to tell my niece the circumstances of her birth. Wow. I'm very curious to know what the comments are going to say down below. I think the message was incredibly cruel to do it that way, and pretty spiteful, and not your place to do so. So let's go down into the comments and see what they say down there. Tabby says, "You're the arsehole. She's only the product of her father's infidelity, not the cause of it. How dare you make it seem like she is the problem in all of this? She's only a teenager and not even yours. You're the arsehole." Sparkly Unicorn Lady says, "You're the arsehole. Even if your niece had known she was adopted, your message was unreasonable, inappropriate, and downright cruel. The fact that you revealed the secret was the icing on the cake. I cannot imagine as how a parent you can possibly think it would be appropriate to remind an adopted child that they are lucky their adopted mother didn't leave. It is totally normal for a 17-year-old to argue with their parents. It is not normal for adults in their life to weaponize the fact that they are adopted as a behavior management tool. I cannot possibly overstate how much you overstepped here." Edit to add, also yeah, the niece sucks for cursing at her mum or whatever, but OP's reaction was just so wildly inappropriate and over the top and emotionally abusive that I'm going with the full "you're the arsehole" over "everyone sucks" here. And I'm going to turn this one on you guys. What do you guys think of this situation? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. Our next story is from Feeling Kinda Bad Throwaway. Am I the arsehole for not allowing my co-worker to call me creepy? I work in a small group of people at a startup, only 10 or so employees. We all get along great. One of my co-workers has a special needs little girl, about 5 years old. Not a full-blown low functioning or anything, but born extremely premature and is a few years behind developmentally. She's a very sweet, quiet little girl. Every now and then, my co-worker brings her daughter into work around the end of the day. Every now and then, she'll come visit my desk. I give her a piece of candy off my desk, which is never a problem, and poke her tummy and make a fart sound with my tongue. She absolutely loves it. She squeals and laughs and has a great time. We go back and forth a couple of times, then she wanders away to see someone else. It's never been presented as a problem. So the other day, my co-worker comes up to me as I'm doing this, with other co-workers around, and says, "Hey, I appreciate you giving my daughter attention when she comes, but you don't need to touch her without my consent." I get the message, I truly do, so I go, "You're right, I apologise, it won't happen again." But then here's where it turns. She goes, "Sorry, but when I see guys being creepy, I call it out. I'm going to raise my daughter to do the same." Now she did this in front of my co-workers. Immediately, I felt like everyone was looking at me like a criminal. I took a step towards her, I tower over her and I say, "I apologise and said I wouldn't do it again, but don't go there." I could tell I intimidated her, but she stood there for a minute in silence and then stormed off. The next day I tried to clear the air in the break room, but she wasn't having it. She accepted my apology, but only to get me out of the room. I really feel like she crossed the line implying that I was trying to be creepy, but I also feel like I should have just let it go. If it had just been the two of us, I feel like I'd have just swallowed my pride, but she tried to imply I was doing something wrong in front of my co-workers. Am I the asshole? Edit, there's a lot of discussion on whether or not my stepping towards her was an intimidation tactic, so I'll be 100% transparent. My goal was not to intimidate, but to face the confrontation. I felt that in that moment that she was being a bully, and that if she wanted to pick a fight in front of co-workers, I was willing to meet her in the ring. I didn't initiate anything, I simply responded to her own hostility. So while my goal was not to intimidate, I was perfectly fine with her being intimidated as a result of what I did. And honestly, I'm still okay with it. If she picked the fight, then got scared, I truly don't feel bad about it. I don't know if that makes me the arsehole, but it's the truth. You know, it's perfectly fine for her not to touch her child. That's absolutely fine. I know it's a bit harsh because if she knew you well in the office and things and could see you was only playing around and being nice to her child, which if I was in her shoes and I saw someone being nice to my child, not creepy, just poking her in the stomach, having a laugh and giving her a little piece of candy, you know, I'd be well happy with that. She's socializing with other people and I can see that. It's not like she's miles away from me and you're messing around or anything, you know. But then she came up to you, she said her piece not to touch a child, fair enough. Okay, I won't touch her again. But then to call you creepy, that's a dick move and makes her the arsehole, not you in my opinion. But we're going to go down into the comments to see what we can find. M Fruitfly says, not the arsehole, super feminist here and this woman needs to get a grip. Totally fine to tell you not to touch her child, and if you responded like you said, then she needed to move on, not insult you. If your behaviour was so creepy, why did she let her daughter around you a number of times? She took a little piece of power too far, and you're right, it has real consequences for you, so you stood up for yourself. Daystole says, not the arsehole, don't give a kid any candy or attention going forward. In fact, if the kid comes to you, kindly ask her to remove her child from your workspace. Let's be real, she insinuated that you're a pedo. You have nothing to apologise for. You now know what she thinks of you. Steer clear of her and her kid. Throwaway42 says, your co-worker takes her daughter into work, lets her run out, and you treat her with kindness and respect, and the parent turns it on you being a creep/gender issue. Majorly not the arsehole. I would even consider HR. Now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. And our final story comes from The Big Crustacean. Am I the arsehole for paying for my daughter's medical school, but not paying for my other daughter's career? This is a side account sense. I'd prefer not to have drama on my main. I have 2 daughters, one is 22, the other is 24. My younger daughter has wanted to be a doctor forever and has just recently graduated university and has applied to medical schools. My oldest daughter decided not to go to college and she wanted to learn a trade. I had no issue with that, and it's not my decision what she did with her professional life, so I told her to go for it. I said that if she needed money to help pay for whatever she decided, I would be happy to give assistance. She said no, and that was her accomplishment, and that she wanted to pay for it herself. Fair enough. This was back when she was 20. She never went to learn a trade and has been living off of her friends for the last 3 years, after she lost her apartment. I offered to help her get things back on track, but she got mad at me and said she didn't want or need anyone's help, so I backed off. Lately she'd been sending me and other family members recommendations for various pieces of jewellery and asking for everyone to buy them. No one has, and while she said it was okay at the time, she keeps asking everyone. I asked her what was up and why she wouldn't drop it. I thought maybe she was trying to start a jewellery business, but it turns out she's in one of those pyramid schemes and she's rapidly losing money. However, she doesn't see it as a pyramid scheme and says that's going to take off. I tried to talk her out of it, but we got into an argument, so I left. My youngest came to me recently asking if I would help pay for her medical school. I said yes, and she was happy and went along with our day. Later that night, my husband gets a call from our oldest asking to speak to me. She had blocked my number and all of my socials after our fight. I get on the phone and she immediately started talking about how much money I was going to give her and about when she expects it. I asked her what the fuck she was talking about. She then proceeds to say that she had heard that I was paying for her sister's schooling, and since I'm doing that, I'm going to pay for her career. That's practically her money anyway, since I owe her for never doing anything for her. I started laughing and brought up all the things I tried to do for her and how she isn't entitled to anything. She started screaming about how I'm a bad father and how I never treated her as an equal to her sister, despite me literally providing them both the same deals and opportunities based on what they wanted. She told me to get smart and hand over her money, and I said she wasn't getting a cent from me now and to call me when she gets an actual career. My husband is on my side, my youngest is on my side, but wants me to not go NC with her sister. She's called numerous family members to invest in her, and after they said no, she's burned those bridges too, so they agree with me. My sister says I'm being too hard on her, but I don't think I am. Am I the asshole? Oh well, we all know about a pyramid scheme or two on this channel. And you cannot subscribe to that sort of shit, I'm sorry. Despise those things. I see people on my Facebook with jewelry ones, soap ones, all kinds of pyramid schemes, and no way would I ever put a penny into those things. I try to educate people on them, but no one listens to me. And these pyramid or MLM schemes seem to still be growing today. I see so many, as I said, I see so many on Facebook, and it's so sad to believe these people believe it's a business, and they're persuaded by bringing up other women and stuff like that. They're empowering other women, and it's sick to see that this is what they're hiding behind. It makes me mad. Anyway, let's go down into the comments below to see what we can find. Some Lemon says, not the arsehole, instead of a pyramid scheme, call it an MLM. They're destroying lives and are very big right now. It's just a new name for what's always been pyramid. Mama Bear 531 says, calling it MLM makes it sound legit. It's a pyramid scheme, no question. Virtual Economy says, to be honest, I don't think MLM sounds legitimate, but when trash talking it, we should use the verbiage they do. If everybody complains about pyramid schemes, but the companies call themselves MLMs, people may not realise they're the exact same thing. Becca says, not the arsehole, there's a difference between equality and equity. First of all, you offer to be equitable to both your daughters, offering to support them through the schooling of their choice. Supporting a child through university, medical school, trade school is totally different from supporting someone who's trying to make money through an MLM. It isn't a career choice, it is a bridge burning shit heap of a bad decision, and unfortunately those companies prey on people like your older daughter. In addition to all that, your older daughter is 24. You raised her, you supported her to adulthood. She no longer has any claim to your assets or any say on how you spend them. The fact that she sees it as her money is ridiculous. If it were my kid, I'd set some cash aside for when her side hustle bankrupts her and she really needs a bit of help to climb out of the hole she's dug herself into. But that's just me, and I'm outside the scope of this post. You aren't the arsehole OP. Good luck to your younger daughter in med school. And finally, I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? MLMs. Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 5. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. The time out of your day is always truly, truly appreciated. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.